Hello and welcome to the Range Rover SV. This is the flagship Range Rover which I'm driving today, and this should be a fantastic experience. Let's get cracking. Amongst all the Range Rover variants and options, the SV sits right at the top. This is part of Range Rover's special vehicle division. That's what the SV stands for. And what you get is all flagship elements inside this SUV. Now the SV is sold only in the long wheelbase version, and along with it come certain special elements exclusive to the SV alone. One of them is the signature suite, which is this interior with just 4 seats in them. Ultra luxury, very comfortable, and some exclusive elements can be found inside this cabin. This is a fairly long car. In fact, it's almost about 200 mm longer than the standard wheelbase Range Rover, which is also sold in India. For such insanely large proportions, it's fairly easy driving the Range Rover SV. If you can ignore the fact that you're driving a car that costs almost 5 crores on the road. Fantastic sight lines, lots of visual areas, lots of visibility from this massive glass surface, light and easy steering, very responsive throttle, and yes, in Mumbai's iconic traffic, it can get a bit scary driving the SV. Most of the changes in the SV are cosmetic and tuned towards enhancing comfort and luxury inside this cabin. This exclusive leather upholstery in this caraway brown, along with these Perlino finish inserts or highlights, which you'd see at the rear and some parts of the dashboard, at least the upholstery on the doors. In addition, you've got these exclusive ceramic finished elements, which you'd see on the gear knob over here, you'd see on the controllers for the volume and the infotainment, the drive selectors, and of course on the armrest right here, controller for the armrest, well, that's ceramic too. The intent here is to create a very exclusive experience, a rich, luxurious, money can't buy experience, and that's essentially what highlights the Range Rover SV. What I do like about the Range Rovers is the effortless motoring that these cars are capable of. This V8, because you've got as much power at your disposal, it's an absolutely wow feeling. Step on that throttle and she just, boom, surges forward with such ease, such calm, composed mannerisms. You know what, it's getting a little frustrating driving a car as wonderful as the Range Rover SV in these traffic conditions. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to stop and shift spaces. So as I mentioned it, well, there really doesn't make much sense driving a Range Rover, something that's this big, something that's this gorgeous, in everyday traffic, because it's just so painful. The SV, especially since it's got this exclusive signature suite, you're better off perched in the rear seats, because that allows you to do this. We'll continue this story in about half an hour. Nap's done, and I must say I have to appreciate that feeling of solitude you get inside the cabin, the quietness, the lack of sound, absolutely brilliant. But let me quickly take you through the visual changes that define the Range Rover SV. And if you look at it, it's got a slightly different grille, and the lower bumper elements, well, they're a little different from the standard Range Rover. And if you look at it, you've got these bronze elements right here on the grille and on the badging. Now all of this effectively are what are unique to the Range Rover SV. Now mechanically, the SV rides on larger wheels and tires. Now these are 285/40 profile tires sitting on 23-inch rims. Now this is exclusive to the SV. The standard Range Rover comes with 22-inch rims. Keep that in mind. You've got the SV badging again just behind the front fender on that design element right there. And well, there are certain other highlights. You can see the bronze effect on the roof and these elements over the rear fender. But coming to, well, the Range Rover's stage where all the drama takes place, and that's over here in the rear tailgate. And you can see, well, it extends. You've got that seating area. We've seen this in the Range Rover, but what is exclusive to the SV are these seats which you can, well, unfold. You locked it into place. Now you've got a far more comfortable seating area. Park yourself in there and, well, contemplate life's mysteries somewhere up in the mountains. So what do I think of the Range Rover SV? Well, it certainly is beyond compare compared to anything else in the Range Rover lineup, and well, nothing holds a candle to what the SV has to offer. My favorite bits, well, of course that rear seat, but be it in the driver's seat for that matter or in that rear passenger seat, this is a phenomenal experience. I loved the lack of noise inside that cabin, the amount of work that has gone into soundproofing, sound deadening. Well, that is just incredible. You cannot hear anything from the outside world once you're inside this cabin. But then, the price, at about 4.17 crore ex-showroom, the Range Rover SV is a fairly expensive SUV. It's almost a crore more expensive than the 5-seater or the 7-seater Range Rover long wheelbase version. So that's a fair amount of money that you're paying for, well, a lot of luxury and comfort that you get inside this SUV. So if you had the money, you'd like to splurge it on something, well, the SV certainly is it. There really isn't anything else in the market that can hold a candle to Range Rover's SV.